Sophie Cunningham just landed her 5th major brand partnership. Once Upon a Coconut announced a full national marketing deal on Monday, advertising, retail promotions, digital campaigns, public appearances, the whole package. The CEO of the company said he chose her specifically because of her toughness, resiliency, and authenticity. That's 5 brands in total now: Adidas, Arby's, Marriott Bonvoy, European Wax Center, and a coconut water company, building a national campaign around her face. All of it happening in the same week that DiJonai Carrington reportedly lost the only endorsement deal she ever had. Same sport, same news cycle, same foul that connected both of their names 3 weeks ago. 2 completely different trajectories. Start with how this whole thing began, because neither of these stories make sense without what happened in Chicago 3 weeks ago.
Across the face, coming down, trying to prevent the layup, but that is just a hard hit. That's definitely going to be upgraded, I think, to a flagrant 2, Ryan.
I think that
play set everything in motion. Sophie went down with blood drawn. The officials reviewed it, upgraded it to a flagrant 2, ejected Carrington, and Carrington walked through the tunnel at the United Center, Chicago's own building, while the home crowd chanted Sophie's name. Then she posted white privilege on social media with no context, tagged the Indiana Fever directly, and followed it up with a smiley face and the date of the next matchup between the 2 teams. That sequence, the foul, the post, the reported meltdown at Shaquille O'Neal, who oversees Reebok's basketball division, collapsed her only major endorsement deal in a matter of days. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications right now, because what Sophie Cunningham has built away from the court is one of the most remarkable brand stories in women's sports, and what Carrington lost in the same week tells you exactly where this league's money's going. Here is what makes the Reebok situation so significant. The deal was not built on market demand. Carrington did not have a line of fans waiting for her signature shoe. The contract reportedly existed because of her father's long-standing relationship with the brand Eddie Brustidal, a connection that predated her WNBA career entirely. When you have one deal built on one relationship, and that deal becomes the centerpiece of a national controversy, there is nothing underneath it to absorb the pressure. Brands do not wait around when their comment sections fill up with demands to cut ties. Reebok had marketing plans built, product photography done, a release calendar set, all of it scrapped, and Carrington reportedly responded by going after the Hall of Famer overseeing the decision instead of the only person whose choices actually caused it. Meanwhile, Sophie was doing something completely different during the exact same stretch. The moment that changed everything for her brand did not happen on a basketball court. It happened in a UFC octagon.
Our referee for the co-main event, and Sophie Cunningham, Indiana Fever guard in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's on-court enforcer, handling the octagon card duty.
Dana White gave her 8 minutes notice. She walked out in front of the largest combat sports crowd of the year, did the finger point, and the clip spread everywhere within the hour. WWE's page, NFL locker rooms, the White House account. The UFC commentator introduced her on air as Caitlin Clark's on-court enforcer to a pay-per-view crowd that had never watched a Fever game. Dana White showed up to Indiana's next home game wearing a shirt with her face on it. That moment did not come from the WNBA's marketing machine, or an all-star invitation, or a three-point contest appearance. Sophie was not in any of those things. She built that audience herself through the finger point on Bonner, through going rogue for Clark's buzzer beater and posting a meme about it, through breaking her silence on her podcast and saying they are definitely targeting Clark and the league does nothing, through playing through a PRP shot in her elbow all season without telling anyone. Real moments, real personality, real audience. And that audience showed up when Adidas dropped her shoe. 60 minutes, both men's and women's sizes gone, without an all-star invite, without a league promotional window, without a single MVP award to her name. Aja Wilson has 4 MVP awards, and her Nike shoe ended up on clearance racks. Angel Reese's Reebok shoe got marked down in bargain bins. Sophie Cunningham sold out in 60 minutes because the people who follow her were waiting for the shoe to drop and moved the second it did. That is the difference between a deal built on a relationship and a deal built on an actual audience. Once Upon a Coconut is not a small brand making a one-post sponsored deal. This is a full national partnership, advertising campaigns, retail promotions, digital content series, public appearances. The CEO named her toughness, resiliency, and authenticity in the official announcement. Those are not words brands use for a player. They are simply paying for a social media post. Those are words brands use when they have identified someone whose values match their product and whose audience trusts them enough to buy something because of them. Sophie's slogan for the partnership is Sip happens, stay hydrated. That is not a scripted corporate line. That is Sophie Cunningham in 5 words. 5 companies that looked at a reserve player averaging 8.7 points per game and decided she was the right face for a national campaign. Not because of her stats, not because the league handed her a platform, because of what she built herself over 2 seasons of being exactly who she is in every situation. On the court, in press conferences, on podcasts, at UFC events, and now in coconut water advertisements describing the chocolate flavor as tasting like chocolate milk. Carrington is heading into the final stretch of the regular season with no major brand attached to her name. 1 deal, 1 connection, 1 foul, plus 1 post, plus 1 reported meltdown. Gone. Sophie is heading into the same stretch with 5 partnerships, a sold-out shoe, a growing podcast approaching 3 million TikTok followers, and a reputation a coconut water CEO specifically called authentic. The market has already rendered its verdict on both players. It did not need a press release to do it. Indiana is 23-12, first in the Eastern Conference. The playoffs are weeks away. And the player who walked out of that Chicago game bleeding and was back on her feet in seconds, the same player who went from the United Center floor to a UFC octagon to 5 national brand deals in the span of 1 season, is one of the most marketable athletes in women's sports. Not because the league decided she should be, because the audience did. Same foul started both stories. The market already knows which one it is backing. What do you think? Is Sophie Cunningham becoming the most marketable player in the WNBA outside of Caitlin Clark? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications because Indiana's playoff push is heating up and this team is not done making history. We will see you in the next one.